They're the future of the iron workers, and one day they'll be the movers and shakers in the industry in charge of building the largest buildings and who knows what else around. But for now, they're ironworker apprentices, the best in the world. And every year, the best of the best get a chance to show off their skills in an Iron Man-style competition for prizes, trophies, and most of all, bragging rights. Ironworkers International put on this outstanding competition, bringing apprentices from all over the United States and Canada and putting them through a written test and 8 skill competitions: welding, torch cutting, instrument tests, knot tying, block reeving, reinforcing tying, ornamental window assembly, and everyone's favorite, the column climb. The apprentices that take part in the competition are tops in their locals and their district councils, fighting their way up to be included in the national competition. This year, the competition was held in Philadelphia, hosted by locals 401 and 405. Blessed by great weather and enthusiastic crowds, the apprentices made a point to take advantage of the wonderful opportunity afforded to them. Even though this was a competition, it was a competition among brothers. Brothers who know at the end of the day, when one brother ironworker succeeds, everyone does. The memories and friendships that these apprentices made during the competition will last a lifetime and give them just another reason to be a proud union ironworker. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and one of the oldest cities in America, boasting historical sites and a new adventure around every turn. What better place then to make more history and foster a sense of brotherhood between ironworkers from across the United States and Canada.
It's amazing how these guys are competing for a very top honor and a very top prize. However, when you see them together, it's like they're family and they're friends and they're wishing each other good luck and they're wishing each other the best. So even though there's a lot at stake, they still got the brotherhood of the ironworkers with them.
If you succeed well in this competition, you can pretty much go anywhere in the nation and have a guaranteed job. I don't know of any other job that you could do that.
The written test, which included questions from topics as varied as blueprint reading and safety topics, was awfully demanding. But these bright apprentices were more than up to the challenge. After the test, it was time for the apprentices to get their hands a little dirty. The first day of competition featured the welding, burning, and ornamental window assembly tests. The first test, welding, dazzled the senses. Sparks danced around, hoods drooped over the apprentices' faces, and that unmistakable smell set the tone for the opening portion of the competition. And according to one instructor, it's one of the most important aspects of what an ironworker does.
This weld test is a test they'll use just about every day in the field. It's one of the more common welds that we'll do. It's a very good test, and it is a good judge of skill in the field.
Welding wasn't the only hot topic of the first day of competition. The apprentices took part in a burning competition where they had a set amount of time to complete a specific design and burn it into a piece of steel. Precise cuts and measurements were the key to victory in this test, and the apprentices showed their piece of metal who was boss.
The apprentice uses oxy-fuel burning every day of their job, whether it's cutting things to length or modifying things to suit on the job site. The oxy-fuel process is a challenge. It can be very craftsman-oriented because it takes a fair amount of skill.
Day one ended with the ornamental window assembly test. Apprentices had to take a window assembly similar to one they might find on the job in the field and put it together like a puzzle.
They're actually showing their skill level on being able to assemble a curtain wall and glass system. And there's some particular parts to it. They should have been trained in their home locals for this preparation.
That wrapped up the first day of competition, and as the apprentices headed back to their rooms for the night or went out on the town to enjoy Philadelphia, one thing stuck in all of their minds, looming large in the distance. Day two started much like day one did, on the bus, off the bus, and down to brass tacks. 5 more events were waiting for the apprentices on this day, each as challenging as the last and incorporating a different yet equally important skill set. First up, knot tying. Here, apprentices were expected to demonstrate their knowledge of the various rope knots that they would encounter on a job site. The challenge? Well, each apprentice would be handed a straight rope and a list of knots, and they were expected to complete them each within a short time frame.
You get 30 minutes, okay? And then I'll have you tie the knot, and when you're done with the knot, you hand it to me. That tells me you're done.
Okay.
You can take as much time on each knot as you want, but as soon as you hand it to me, it's over. You're finished. Okay?
Right after each apprentice completed the knot tying portion, the block reeving test was administered. The reeving test using a longer rope demonstrated the apprentice's skill in using a rope with a pulley system. After the apprentices put away the ropes for the day, they moved on to the instrument test. During this portion, apprentices were responsible for ensuring their instruments that they would use on the job site would take accurate measurements, an important part of making sure that a job gets done right.
What they're doing here is they're establishing a given benchmark, and they're transferring elevations from one point to another as it would be done on a construction site.
Finally, the moments that the apprentices had been looking forward to for the last 2 days. The tests where they would get to go head-to-head with other apprentices in a battle for the trophies, rebar tying and column climbing. During the rebar tying, the apprentices had to make 3 separate ties in a short period of time, and each judge counted up the amount of ties the apprentice completed to their satisfaction. Apprentices agreed. Going head-to-head against other apprentices was an exhilarating experience, and one that is repeated on job sites throughout the U.S. and Canada on a daily basis.
Bragging rights, everybody likes to brag when they're working. One-uppers, stuff like that, it's a good deal. We all do the same thing day in, day out. We kind of know what to expect out of each other.
Is there a technique to rebar tying?
I always joke with my apprentices, it's like that old movie, Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. You just get the movements down right, and then with too much practice, you get fast at it.
Finally, the crowd began to buzz as activity around the erected 35-foot steel column stirred. 35 feet straight up, one harness in 2 hands. Every apprentice was determined to make the crowd salivate by ringing the bell at the top. Most made it, but some did not. But they cheered on every single brother ironworker who put on the straps and tried. Just like on the job, everyone gave 110% and left it all out on the beam. They came from across the United States and Canada as brothers who had never met, but they left as more than that. They left as friends.
It's nice to meet the guys, and meet a bunch of guys from all over the place, and it's been a good experience.
It's like, especially talking to the other guys, it's like a paid vacation. You get to go to another state, hang out there, meet some new people, do all that stuff, see new things. It's a good deal.
At the end of the day, everyone shook hands and walked away safe. But one stood above the rest as the winner. Alexi Ogai from Local 5 in Washington, D.C. Everybody who came to Philly felt like a winner because they were making something out of themselves, working as an apprentice in the best union in the world.
While these apprentices represent their local unions and district councils, they also demonstrate the core of what makes an ironworker. Excellence in their knowledge, skills, and attitudes. As you have watched these competitors, remember that they are the future of the ironworkers in this union.
These young people were impressive, hardworking, aggressive, any way you want to describe them, but they are the future. I remember when I started, we used to be called punks. I know there's a few people around here. These young people aren't punks. These young people are our future.
And it makes you feel like you're actually doing something that's up to snuff for the younger people coming into our business, because in the building trades, there's nothing more important than training.
You're off to a great start. Don't waste it. Leverage it. Take this to the next level to be the best ironworker you can be.
Apprenticeship coupled with the organizing, that's what's going to decide whether we succeed or whether we fail. And I think as everybody in this room knows, ironworkers, we do not fail.
All us older fellows, we're going to be gone and retired, but looking at you guys, we know this thing's going to carry on. The tradition's going to be there, the pride's going to be there, and this thing is going nowhere but up. You guys are the future, and I see a very bright future for you.